right? So for my head chefs, I'm gonna hire Eric Chong. There's a good chance I'm gonna hire him to be one of my head chefs. Obviously. So not only is he making money from his restaurant, I'm assuming he's making pretty good money off his R&D restaurant in Toronto. Yeah, you walk up on your restaurant out there. He's not only making good money off his restaurant, he's also making $400,000 if he's hired for my Sky Source company for 2 years. He's making a good paycheck, obviously, which is a nice paycheck. If you're making $400,000, you're not a celebrity. You're not living the celeb life, but you're an upper class citizen. You're considered rich. You make $400,000 a year, you're considered an upper class citizen, obviously. Buy a nice house with that kind of money, man. Nice car. Buy a Benz. It's a bigger car on your budget. You can buy a Benz. You can buy nice cars. You can buy a nice house for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because Eric Chong will be living the life, and if he is hired, he's gonna be, because the guy is my age. I think he's a year older than me. He's like 31 years old. If I'm correct. He's like 30 years old. He's gonna be experiencing success and fame for me and my wife for a good like 40 plus years. So if we were hired, he'd be working for my company until he's like in his 70s. And around the time when he's in the 70s, I'll probably retire him. And look, man, you work for my company for 40 years. If he's hired, if he works for my company for a good 40 years, after the 40 years, I'll tell him, look, man, you're 7 years old. I think it's best you retire. And if you're making $40,000 a year, you can live off a good retirement for that kind of money. And you can save a lot of money with $40,000 a year. You can have a pretty good retirement for himself, obviously. So what I'll do is, if he's hired, I'll have him work for me for a good like 40 years. And so he'll be the lucky chosen. He'll be saved. He'll be cooking food for all my movies for a good like 40 years. And so he's the lucky one, obviously. He'll be saved. And once he's like 7 years old, I'm going to tell him, look, man, you need to retire. I don't want you working for me when you... There's a good chance he'll want to work for me even when he's in the 70s. But I'll tell him, look, I recommend you retire after 40 years. If he works for me, like after 40 years, I recommend you retire. Because there's nothing worse than working till you're in your 80s and you never got to enjoy retirement. In my opinion, once you hit your 70s, you should retire, man. You should retire and just enjoy your life. As there's nothing worse, because most people die when they're in their 80s. They die 85, 90, they die. There's nothing worse than working till when you're in your 80s and you only enjoy retirement for like 5-6 years. No. In my opinion, you should enjoy retirement for a good 10, 15, 20 years. For a good 15 years at least. There's nothing worse than working when you're in your 80s and you only enjoy retirement for 6 years. No. Or you're still working when you're in your 80s, and all of a sudden when you die at 90, you never even got to enjoy retirement. And that's why guys like Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, if they're what? This is part 2, by the way. This is part 2 of my video, obviously. Right, that way you're not confused. That's why Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, if they're hired, I'm going to tell them, once they hit their 70s, once I do the 5 movies, I'm going to tell them, look, you have to retire. Because Jon Favreau will be in his 80s by the time I finish the 5th movie. After the 5th movie, I'm going to tell him, look, I recommend you retire, obviously. And Dave Filoni, after the 5th movie, he'll be like in his 69, 70. I'm going to tell him, look, you guys made a lot of money. I recommend you guys retire, obviously. Right? Now, I don't know what movie I want to make after my Western. I said the hockey series, but the problem with hockey, I have to learn how to skate. I know how to skate, but I don't know how to cross skate. I don't know how to skate backwards. Hence why I decided I'm not going to make the hockey series. I was thinking of doing a Spider-Man Miles Morales movie. I was thinking of purchasing the rights of Hollywood for Spider-Man and doing a Spider-Man Miles Morales movie, the Black Spider-Man. Imagine seeing a Black Spider-Man movie with Ivan O'Mara, and then Vijays is my soon-to-be girlfriend in the movie. I was thinking of doing a Miles Morales Spider-Man for that for after what? After my 5 movies. There's a good chance I might do that, man. A Spider-Man Miles Morales movie. Obviously, Miles Morales is the Black Spider-Man. So I was thinking of doing, imagine me as Spider-Man, obviously. And then VJ is my soon-to-be girlfriend. But to do that, I have to purchase the rights from Hollywood, which will cost me a lot of money. It'll probably cost me a good. Miles Morales isn't that big in Hollywood. They did a movie of Miles Morales, right? Of Miles Morales Spider-Man. Imagine doing a Spider-Man Miles Morales movie. There's a good chance after I make my 5 movies, I might consider purchasing the rights of Hollywood for Spider-Man, I'll do a Miles Morales. So I'll do a Miles Morales trilogy for that movie. Obviously, imagine doing a movie like that. Again, this is like what? This is like 25 years. 25 years. That's a long time now. So I'm not even gonna focus on that. Right now, I'm only gonna focus on my 5 movies, and then after that, I'll talk it over with my wife, and we'll see what movies we want to make. But it's good. I really want to make. I really want to make that Miles Morales Spider-Man movie, man. With Ivan O'Mara. Imagine me seeing me as Spider-Man, seeing me as Spider-Man, a black Spider-Man, and VJ is my what? Is my girlfriend in the movie. I could do a trilogy for that, a nice trilogy, Spider-Man trilogy for that. But to do that, I have to purchase the rights of Hollywood, obviously, which will cost me the Spider-Man brand for Miles Morales is probably only worth like I don't know 800 million, $1 billion. So for a good $1 billion, I can probably purchase the rights for Miles Morales, Spider-Man around there. It's gonna cost me a lot of money from Hollywood, but we'll see what happens, obviously, right? But right now, all I have is my 5 movie plan. I have Last Hope for Zanus, which is a couple years from now, and you're taken for granted. Because once I make that Swimmers and Sharks video, you only have one reel left. Was my final announcement. With Paul by Lord of the Rings reels, and after that, that's it for Ivan Mir. I'm not making more reels for you, man. I'm gonna pay this fee, cry my eyes out, and break down in tears. My wife will cry and she'll trip because I'm now having sex with all these celebrities. You're gonna see the trends of me online, obviously. My wife will be tripping, obviously. Once I come from death and I paid my debt, and you guys got your bullshit sex, got your match from both Ivan and Vijay's life. Now when Ivan and Vijay king and queen, leave them the fuck alone, let them live their life. Well, we can't leave you alone, Ivan. Okay, well, if you can't leave me alone, then why'd you pay this fee, man? Oh, because we want to see you have sex. Yeah, I'm not stupid, man. Hence, I'm worth the free money. Because you can't leave me alone. Hence, I'm worth the free money, obviously. Look, I'm stupid. Right? So I have my 5 movie plans. So right now, I have a 25-year movie plan. 25-year movie plan. You have Last Hope for Zanus, the Great Escape Organization movie. You have They're Unique. All my movies are looking at entertaining movies. All my movies will be, I guarantee you, all my movies will be one of the best ranking movies of all time. Because I'm a fucking creative genius. I'm not going to say they're all going to be the best. Like, there may be some movies that are better than the organization. There may be some movies that are better than They're Unique. But the only movie where I think no movie will top is Last of Us. Last of Us is a unique story. But I believe all my movies are going to be ranked as among one of the top movies ever made. The reason why is because I'm acting in it, man. Because me and my wife are acting in it makes the movie that much better. Don't forget that too, obviously, right? And also, it's an amazing story. I came up with amazing stories, obviously. Right? So my first movie will be Last of Us, which I'll be starting the process of in a couple years from now. And you will take me for granted. Once I'm king, I'm taking off to the throne. And I'm piecing the fuck out. I'm going to live the great life of my wife. And after that, you have the Great Escape Organization movie. You're looking at an amazing movie for that. Again, for that movie, I only have 2 actors chosen. So the actor for Legion, who was in Legion and who's Vision in Marvel, he's perfect for one of the main antagonists in the movie. I'll have him be the mysterious guy. He's also one of the big owners of the company. I'll do that. I'll have him be one of the main antagonists of the movie, obviously. And then that guy who's in Country of Old Men, obviously, he's perfect for one of the hitmen, obviously. So only those 2 actors are the lucky chosen ones for my organization movie. And then for They're Unique, I don't know who I want chosen for that. I have no idea who I want chosen for that. And after They're Unique, you have the Hidden Vampire movie, obviously, and then you have the Western Gangster movie. The Western Gangster movie, I want like 4 big guys for that, man. No, 3 big guys. I want like good actors for that movie, obviously. Like Leonardo DiCaprio, he's good. He's good for that kind of movie, like a Western Gangster with Leonardo DiCaprio. You know what I'm saying? Keanu Reeves, those would be good actors for those movies. The problem is, by that time, all those guys are going to be fucking old, man. Keanu Reeves is good for the organization movie, but I don't know who I want to cast, man. No, you have to send your reels. Because he did John Wick, he's also good for the organization movie, too. He's good for one of the hitmen, obviously. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe he might be in an organization movie. You guys see the future. You know who's going to be my movie or not, but all the actors are going to be sending in their reels. It looks me crazy. Let's see. Right? Because for the organization movie, I want to have a good... For the organization movie, I want to have a good what? A good 7 to 8 A-listers for that movie. And everyone else are balanced with B-list actors and rising stars. I'll have like 1 rising star, and everyone else you balance with the minor characters, you have them all be B-list actors. And then you have a few major roles open for some of the B-list actors. The way you balance your budget, obviously. The biggest actors are cheap. Biggest actors will gladly do a movie for you for 2.5 million. Because the A-list actors cost you more money. Hence why you gotta balance your A-listers with your B-list actors. That way you create more room for your cat, for your movie, obviously. Right, 10 minutes here. So I'll babble on for a good 20 minutes. Then I'll start reading. It's fun when I babble on because it's interesting, obviously. I'll babble on for a good 20 minutes and I'll start reading the remainder of chapter 4. We're finishing chapter 4 today. After I make this video, I'll take a shower, walk to the store, get a pack of smokes, come back home and enjoy the show. And probably go to bed afterwards. Because usually around 12, 1 o'clock, I get tired and I go to bed. Again, you guys can see the future. You know how top-notch my Scotch company is. You know how top-notch my Scotch company is. And I'm going to keep on saying this, world. The money that me and my wife are making off of book sales, me and my wife never have to work again. I don't even have to work. I never have to work ever again for hundreds of years. $9 billion is enough to last you for 500 years. 500 years. Like, it can last me and my wife for hundreds of years. 200, 300 years, it can last us easily. Hence why I'm going to keep saying this. You better stop taking for granted, as me and my wife don't even have to put in all that work. I don't even have to put in all that work and start skyscrapers. I can just build my condo, buy my jet, buy my yacht. Me and my wife can just live the life forever. And the only connection you're going to get to us is the trends online. But because me and my wife came here for the world to witness our glory, I don't want me and my wife's glory to be for nothing. Hence why I want to start skyscrapers. Because it's a dream of mine to star my own big budget movie, obviously. There's nothing better than witnessing the glory of God through what? Ivan and Vijays movies and docs. And also, it's a dream of mine to star my own big budget movie. Hence why I so badly want to start Sky Source, obviously. Right? Hence why I so badly want to start Sky Source. But let me keep on saying this. Me and my wife, we don't have to start Sky Source. We don't have to put in all the work on Sky Source. We can easily just what? We can easily just... You might hear some noise upstairs. My stepfather's praying. My family, they're Christians, right? They're fucking weird. I can easily just piece the fuck out and just live my life, buy my jet, lease my cars. Me and my wife don't even have to start Sky Source. But I know VJ wants to start Sky Source because VJ's dream, besides the personal stuff, obviously, besides doing the personal stuff with Ivan, VJ's dream is obviously to star in a big budget movie with her husband, obviously. But that's never going to happen in Hollywood because she sold out, she got duped, and all the doors are locked on her. Hence why she's doing all these shitty indie movies. Hence why her eye candy show got canceled, because they don't want her gain control, obviously. Right? Because her eye candy show, the movie, the whole world was tuning into that. They had to sabotage the results and cancel that because they were scared. They were scared of, obviously, what? VJ rising to fame and all that stuff. Even though VJ sold out, we need to keep her sabotaged. We need to keep her worth under $10 million because they don't want her becoming a billionaire because they're fucking selfish people, obviously. So you see the double standards. The step families, they don't want me making money through their system, and all of a sudden when I write my own book, they all of a sudden want to take a piece of my money. So you won't let me make money through your system, and you somehow think I'm gonna let you take my money when you're not even worth my royalties. As no one around the world is worth my royalties, not even the step families worth my royalties, and they know it, man. Because you're not the son of God, you're not worth my royalties. Even if you may be the gatekeeper, you may what? You know what I'm saying? You may own the financial system, but you didn't create this universe. I created this universe, hence you're not worth my royalties. You may own the financial system in the world, but I'm the one giving you life, and I'm the one who's controlling the entire universe. Hence, who's the bigger boss? I'm the bigger boss. Because I created the fucking universe. You own a financial system in the world, but I created the fucking universe. Hence, I'm the bigger boss, obviously. Yeah. Me and my wife were the big bosses. The step families are the big bosses, but me and my wife were the bigger bosses because we created the universe. Yeah, duh. Hence why no one around the world is worth me and my wife's royalties. And they know it, obviously. No one around the world is worth me and my wife's royalties. Right. And my Scottish company, you're looking at a company bigger than Disney, bigger than Warner Bros., bigger than Paramount. You're looking at a company bigger than all those companies, man. You're looking at a top-notch company, man. You're looking at something top-notch. You're looking at a luxury... In Hollywood, the execs own nice offices. They don't own like a nice, like, unheard of futuristic luxury office like my company. You're looking at something unheard of for my luxury office. like a GPS. Welcome to Sky Source. I showed you many pictures. You guys get an idea how top notch I was actually awesome in own. I'm also gonna have a top-notch building for my special effects team where they're gonna work. You know how you have those game studios where you have those nice buildings where all the people work, all the game designers work. You're looking at a top-notch building. I showed you pictures, and that's where the special effects team are all gonna be working. That's where me and my wife are gonna be doing the console arts. You're looking at something top-notch, man. I'm gonna own a $100 million rooftop condo, unheard of $100 million rooftop condo, and all those actors, the main actors, get to part up my condo. Peter Jackson or Mel Gibson, if they're hired, if I choose to hire a director, they get the part of my $100 million rooftop condo. The head chefs, photographers, graphic designers, web designer, they get to all part out my rooftop condo because they're my main people, obviously. Whereas all the remaining of the minor actors and the remaining of the crew, they party up in a lounge in the fall, in the winter and spring. In the summer and fall, they party up my yacht. I don't want to be partying up my rooftop condo every day, man. No. My rooftop condo is mainly meant personally for me and my wife. I don't want to be partying up there every day. No, only the main actors and my main crew, like the 17, the doc team gets to party at my rooftop condo, and the head chefs, photographers, graphic designers, and web designers, they get to party at my rooftop condo. So if Eric Chong is hired, he'll get to party at my rooftop condo for every movie, obviously, which is nice. Obviously, right? And there's a 7% chance I'm going to hire him. He's a good candidate, obviously. Right? And you guys know how top-notch my Scarce's company is. You're looking at a company bigger than all those Hollywood companies in quality. You're looking at the unheard of company, man. I'm self-made. Like, oh my god, Ivan, SkySource is such a perfect name. SkySource sounds bigger than all those companies. Yeah, I got signed by Universal. Yeah, I got signed by Skive. Skive sounds bigger than all those companies. It sounds bigger than Disney. It sounds bigger than Universal. Yeah, I got signed by Disney. Yeah, I got signed by Skive. Like, Skive sounds bigger than Disney. Hey, I got signed by Universal. Yeah, I got signed by Skive. Hey, I got signed by Fox. Yeah, I got signed by Skive. Skive sounds bigger than all those companies. And Skive is will be a bigger brand than all those Hollywood companies, man. And not only that, I also grant you your freedom, as freedom is worth more than money, man. Even though it's nice to be rich, it's nice to have money, don't get me wrong. It's nice to have a lot of money. It's not fun being poor, obviously. It's nice to have a lot of money. But there's nothing worse than having a lot of money and you're not free, right? Whereas there's nothing worse than being free and not having money. But I'd rather be an average person making $100,000 a year and be free than be someone who's a multimillionaire and be a dirty slave and I sold my soul. No, man. Hence why I'm paying this fee to get my freedom and to be rich, because I have no choice, obviously. I'm paying this fee to get freedom and to be rich because I'm not a fan of selling my soul for money. I want to be free and I want to be rich, and I'm saving my wife's ass. I'm getting her out of that Hollywood system so she can get her freedom and she can be rich with me, obviously. And that's why Vijays gonna cry her eyes out when she meets me, because Vijay doesn't know anything about freedom. In Hollywood, you're not free. You're a dirty slave. Everyone in Hollywood who's famous, they all sold their soul. There's no such thing as being free in Hollywood. In Hollywood, you gotta pay a price to be free. Hence why those actors chosen for Zayas are gonna beg their fucking asses off. Because not only did I pay them a shitload of money and I spoiled them, and Sky's was better in Hollywood, they were free, man. Being free is a fucking good feeling, man. Being rich and free, you're getting the best of both worlds. So not only are you get your freedom, you're also rich. You're free. I pay you a rich salary, you're rich, and you're also free, which is an amazing feeling. Whereas in Hollywood, yeah, these actors are rich, which is nice to have money, but a lot of them are very miserable and stressed out because they sold their soul for fame and fortune. Right? They sold their soul, obviously. And I'd rather make $100,000 a year and be free and be happy than be a multi-millionaire, sell my soul and be fucking. Even though I have money, I'm fucking miserable because every day I'm a fucking dirty slave and I sold my soul for fame and fortune. Right. Hence why these actors are gonna cry, because they know not only is Ivan save our ass, not only did Ivan save us, obviously, we're rich and we also got our freedom. We know what it's like to be rich and free. Whereas even though when we go back to Hollywood, we're going to make a shitload of money, we're going to go back to being dirty slaves, because in Hollywood there's no such thing as freedom, because we live in a wicked world, obviously. Right? Trust me, all you guys out there who want to be rich, once you meet one of the gatekeepers, because this world, there's gatekeepers in every branch. Right, in every branch of business, obviously, you want to be rich, you're going to end up meeting one of the gatekeepers. If you meet one of the gatekeepers, right? The stepfamilies are the ultimate gatekeepers. But in this world, you obviously have gatekeepers. once you hit a certain level of success in this world, you're gonna end up meeting one of the gatekeepers, and you're gonna have to pay a price to make that money. As there's no such thing as free money in this world. All the people in the world who are rich, they all have to pay a price to be rich. As there's no such thing as free money in this world. Right. Hence why I want nothing to do with the Hollywood system, as I don't want to sell my soul for fame and fortune. I want to be rich and free. I want to have financial control and be free. I don't want to be rich and be a fucking dirty slave and sell my soul. No, I want to be free and I want to be rich. And hence why those actors are gonna beg their asses off, because they not only were saved and skyscrapers burned in Hollywood, they got their freedom for 4 years, and they also were rich too. So they'll know what it's like to be free, and they'll know what it's like to be rich. Obviously. Whereas there's no such thing as being rich and free in Hollywood. In Hollywood, you're rich, you have a lot of money, which is nice, obviously, but you're not free. You don't have freedom. And freedom, in my opinion, is worth a lot more than money, obviously. Freedom, in my opinion, is worth more than money. Money's nice, don't get me wrong. It's nice to have money, obviously. Who doesn't want to have money? It's nice to have money, but there's nothing worse than having a lot of money and selling your soul. No. There's nothing better than being rich and also being free. You're getting the best of both worlds. Hence why I'm the lucky one. Ivan is the one who escaped the Hollywood system. He not only didn't bow the knee to the gatekeepers, he got his freedom, and now he's a multi-billionaire. He has financial control, and he saved his wife. He got his wife out of the Hollywood system, and now his wife is free with him. Hence why she's going to cry her eyes out. And she's also rich with him, obviously. Whereas all those other actors in Hollywood, yeah, they're rich. All those other celebrities in Hollywood, yeah, they're very rich and wealthy, but they all sold their soul, hence they're not free. Hence why all the actors, all the celebrities, all the actors in Hollywood are all going to die to view my movie, because not only do they want their freedom, not only do they want to be saved and skyscrapers burned in Hollywood, they also so badly want their freedom. I want to be rich. I want to know what it's like to be rich and to be free for a couple of years. Because there's no such thing as freedom in Hollywood. Yeah. Hence why a lot of the actors chosen for all my 5 movies, a lot of them are going to even cry, because they were saved and they know what it's like to have freedom, man. Freedom is worth a lot, man. It's worth a lot more than money, man. Freedom is worth a lot. Trust me, take it from me. Even though I'm poor, it's an amazing feeling to be free, man. Having your freedom is such an amazing feeling. Whereas it's nice to have money, but if you have money and you sold your soul, was that really worth it? Was it really worth selling your soul for money? In other words, even though you have a lot of money, which is nice, you're miserable, you're stressed out because you sold your soul. Whereas if you're free, even if you're not rich, at least you have your freedom and you're happy. Obviously. Right? Right. And being free and being rich, there's no such thing as being free and being rich in this world. Hence why Ivan Amir is the lucky one. I'm the lucky one who got out of the Hollywood system, who didn't bow the knee to the Hollywood system, and I got my freedom, and I'm also wealthy. Yes, I'm the lucky one. Ivan Vijays are the lucky one who escaped the Hollywood system, obviously, who did not bow the knee to the Hollywood system, obviously. Hence why all the Hollywood actors want to work for my company, because my company is independent from the Hollywood system, and they know that Ivan Omer will grant me freedom, whereas in Hollywood, there's no such thing as freedom. If you want to be successful in Hollywood, you gotta sell your soul, man. That's how it works. You gotta pay a price for that, man. As in my opinion, there's nothing worse than being a dirty businessman. It's not hard to be fucking clean. I don't know where people got this idea where you have to pay a price to be rich. I don't know where people get this idea from. Why do you have to pay a price to make money in this world? Why can't you just be clean? It's not hard. Just say, you know what? I'm going to pay your millions. All I ask is that you work hard for me. There's no need to have all these actors and people pay a price. Because we live in a wicked world, obviously. Because I'm good, I'll never ever have an actor pay a price to be rich. No, man. And there's nothing worse than being rich and being a dirty fucking slave and being miserable and stressed out. No. Grant them their freedom, pay them their millions. All I ask is that you work your ass off for them and you deliver a top-notch performance. Because I gave them their freedom and I saved their ass and I paid them their millions, these actors are going to work so much harder for me than they even do in Hollywood because I granted them their freedom. Obviously. 24 minutes here and I'll start reading. By the way, I might get a coffee after this part and I'll read the remaining 7 pages of Lord of the Rings. I can talk about Peter Jackson and Mel Gibson, but I already mentioned that in my last video. I'm willing to pay them a nice $40 million if I hire them. If I choose to hire a director, I'll have both of them compete for the role. I'll fly them on my luxury jet to my office. I'll ask them a series of questions. Whoever comes up with the more satisfying answer, that's the director I'll hire. I'll even give them executive producing power. Because as an executive producer just means you just consult for business. obviously. Whereas the assistant producers are usually the ones who do most of the dirty work, whereas the executive producers are the ones who just consult. They have the ultimate power, but they do the consulting. Whereas the producers or the co-producers are the ones who usually do all the dirty work. That's how it works in Hollywood. So even though me and my wife are executive producers, because we're signing the contracts, we're consulting for the business and all that stuff, on my 7 team are going to be my assistant producers, and they're the ones who are doing all the dirty work, obviously. Whereas me and my wife are doing very little work. I'll have Peter Jackson or Mel Gibson if they're hired. I'll have them be one of the executive producers that can consult for some of the business too, obviously. I don't pay you $40 million for nothing. I'll pay them a nice $10 million for pre-production, and they get their $30 million at the start of production. That's if I choose to hire a director. Hence why I'm going to have this big talk with my wife. I'm going to ask her, hey, VJ, do you think it's best? I guarantee VJ is going to tell me to direct it myself. You're going to be like, Ivan, Zayas is your baby. You wrote your own book. Don't let anyone direct your movie. This is your baby. This is your book. This is your book. This is your baby. I recommend you direct it. Obviously. Even though I know directing and acting is a lot of work, starring is a lot of work, if it pays off in the end, it's worth it, man. And hence why, if I end up directing Zayas, I am never directing an acting movie ever again. That's too fucking stressing. It's either I choose to direct and I don't act on the screen, hence you won't see me on the screen, or I choose to act and see me on the screen and I hire a director to take the stress off me. Hence why, for all my other movies, I'm just going to hire a director to take the stress off me to direct my movie. But I'll have all my directors co-write the script with me. That way, they know the ins and outs of the story. There's nothing worse than a director directing someone else's screenplay. No. I believe a director should write the script, should co-write the script. The way he or she knows the ins and outs of the story. Obviously. Right? I guarantee you, though, when I have that big talk with VJ in a couple of years, I don't know, sometime next year, there's a good chance I'll have a talk with her. There's a good chance next year I'll be king. Sometime next year, I don't know, October, I'll be king. When I see VJ in Los Angeles, I'm going to ask her, hey, VJ, do you think I should take the reins and direct it myself, hire an assistant director, and have my 2 scriptwriters help me? Or do you think I should trust another director, have him co-write it with me, and have him take the reins and direct my movie? Hey, trust me. I guarantee VJ will say, Ivan, it's your movie, it's your baby, you direct it yourself. Guarantee you she's going to say that, obviously. I don't know. Maybe she might recommend I hire a director to take the stress off me. But VJ will be like, Ivan, I guarantee VJ will be like, Ivan, you don't want anyone ruining this amazing story. I recommend you direct it yourself. Obviously. And I'm a hard-ass worker. When it's time to work, I work my ass off. So I have the energy to direct and even star in a movie. I'm a hard worker. Hence, but if I direct it and act, I have to hire an assistant director to help me out. And I'm going to have my 2 script developers help me out a lot, man. I'm like, look, man, whenever I'm directing, I need you guys helping me out a lot, man. I'm going to tell my assistant director, I don't pay you a good, I don't know. My assistant director, if I do direct it myself, I'll pay him a nice, $600,000. I'm not going to pay you $600,000 to slack off. I want you helping me a lot. And I want my 2 script developers help me a lot. I don't pay you, I don't know, $2 or $3 million for the 4th year for nothing, man. I'm going to put you to fucking work. And then the rest of the 7 team handles all the business, obviously. Right. But there's a 55% chance I'm going to just direct it myself. Because I don't want anyone ruining my story. Zayas is my baby, man. Last One for Zayas is an amazing, unique story. I don't want anyone ruining that story. Hence why I think I'm just going to take the reins and direct it myself. But there's a 45% chance I'll hire a director. If I hire a director, I'll be choosing one of those 2 guys. Either Peter Jackson or Mel Gibson. And I'll pay them a nice $40 million, which is a nice paycheck. And I'll give them a nice $50,000 royalty check for all my re-releases. So whenever I re-release the movie in 4K Blu-ray or a special edition, I don't know if I'll release a special edition, but if I release it in a new technology Blu-ray, they get a $250,000 check deposit into the bank account, which is nice. And they also get the freedom too, and hence why those directors, if they're chosen, if I choose to hire a director, they're also going to beg. One of them are chosen, they're also going to beg me to resign them. You know, Ivan, can I direct your next movie, man? I want to work for you. Your company's so much better than Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? I can't stand Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? Some of these actors might even say I can't stand Hollywood and all stuff. I can't stand the Hollywood system. I'd rather work for you. You know what I'm saying? You saved me. I know what it feels like to be saved. I got my freedom. Whereas there's no such thing as freedom in Hollywood. I'm a fucking dirty slave. I have to pay a price for all my movies. You know what I'm saying? And that's why all these actors are going to beg. No, the main reason why they're going to beg because they want to be saved, obviously. But another big reason why they're going to beg and Scotch is better than Hollywood. But another big reason why these actors are going to beg because there's no such thing as freedom in Hollywood. Whereas for Sky Source, I granted them their freedom. And freedom is worth a lot more than money, man. It really is. Having a lot of money is nice. Don't get me wrong. It's nice to have a lot of money. But there's nothing worse than being rich and selling your soul, man. Having your freedom is worth so much more than having a lot of money, man. Because there's nothing worse than having a lot of money and you're stressed out and you're miserable because you sold your soul. Hence why I'm going to grant these actors their freedom. I'm going to grant them their wealth and fame, obviously. Right? Obviously, right? Hence why all the actors for all the movies are all going to bring their asses off. Because not only did I save their asses, they don't want to be left behind. They know what it feels like to have freedom, man. There's no such thing as freedom in Hollywood. In Hollywood, you're not free. You're a dirty slave in Hollywood. That's the cold truth about Hollywood, man. If you want to be to all you actors out there, you know what I'm saying? To all you actors out there who want to go to Hollywood, Hollywood's the best of the best. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying, if you want to be famous and rich in Hollywood, that comes at a price, man. There's no such thing as free money in Hollywood. So to all you aspiring actors, to all you C-list actors out there who want to be a famous television, B-list actor, television star, you want to be a movie star in Hollywood, it's nice. Having fame and wealth is nice and all stuff. I'm just saying that all comes at a price, man. And there's no such thing as free money in Hollywood. If you want to be famous and rich, that comes at a price, man. Whereas for my company, you don't have to pay any price. The only price you're going to pay is you're going to have to put up with the fame. But you get your freedom and you get your wealth. You get your wealth and your fame, and you also get your freedom. Hence why Skysers is a unique company among all the Hollywood companies. Because not only is it a better company, and I saved your fucking ass, you're not left behind, you also get your freedom. And freedom is worth a lot more than money, man. Take it from me. I'm telling you right now, even though I'm poor, it's such an amazing feeling to be free, man. Having your freedom is an amazing feeling, man. Hence why I'm paying this fee to get my freedom and to be rich. As I don't want to sell my soul and be a dirty slave in Hollywood. No fucking way. I want nothing to do with the Hollywood system. I want to be independent from Hollywood, as I don't want to sell my soul. I want to be free and independent from the Hollywood system. And hence why I want to be bold. You may give me death threats. I'm not selling to you, and I want nothing to do with I want nothing to do with your wicked Hollywood system. I want to be independent from Hollywood. I want to get my freedom, and I want to get my financial control, and I want to get a fresh start for myself, and I want to get my wife out of the Hollywood system because I want nothing to do with the wicked Hollywood system. As I told you, if you want to go to Hollywood and be famous, people, try and achieve that dream all you want. I'm just saying that comes at a price, man. I'm going to shut my camera off here.